Welcome to the Three Pundits.
Right.
Live from Big Dunk's mansion, Flying Pig.
Yep, big mansion.
And he's got a lovely little dog. Come on in, darling. Come on, you coming up here?
Oh, Zoe.
Oh, she's lovely. Look at that. Far more handsome than Big Dunk and the Flying Pig put together.
Not too difficult.
She's a gorgeous little girl. Yes, live, the Three Pundits from Big Dunk's mansion today. With what's she called? Zoe the dog.
Yeah.
Now, as long as you don't bark, you should be okay, doll. You can sit here with me anytime you want. And I've always said, a dog always knows who a good person is, lads. Look who she's with. Come on, you're our owner, and she hasn't even
It's not because you can smell food on your hand.
No, nothing like that. Yes, we'll finish the Saturday show with so much more to speak about, lads.
Yeah, we ran out of time, didn't we?
Yeah, we're absolute 2 hours went like that on Saturday. Yesterday we should have been filming from the Union Jack 2 bar, but it was an absolute washout. It persists. Oh, I swear it's a Monday show, isn't it? Yeah. It pissed down. Yeah. It pissed down, Flying Pig. And the Union Jack 2 bar shut because basically it didn't have any customers, did it?
No, it was absolutely terrible day. Benidorm. Well, everywhere.
There was a few weather warnings in place, isn't there?
Yeah, there was, yeah.
So I think it could get worse yet.
Listen to Radio 1, Benidorm constantly for the weather warnings on the hour, on the half hour. They give a full rundown.
Well, I'm glad we didn't do it yesterday because you were hungover, weren't you, mate? Yeah, we went to that Paul Merson gig the other night, didn't we? That Radio 1 organised. Absolutely brilliant.
That's what we were going to talk about.
Brilliant,
That's one of the things. Now, I have to say, viewers, Three Pundits fans, I was the official photographer, cameraman, and I was on water all night. These two lads, they should be ashamed of themselves. Absolutely ashamed of themselves.
But he was letting his hair down, wasn't he?
I'm not ashamed of myself. I thought I was pretty good.
You said to me all night, you said, I'm not going out after this, I'm going home. And I said, you are not going home of my dead body, and you didn't go home.
Right, just one question each to ask you. Okay, one question each. The do started at 8:15. What time did you guys go out on the piss?
Were they...
Well, we were in Andy's bar for about
6 o'clock.
6, yeah. 6. I was pissed before we left Andy's bar, I'm honest.
And we got in at 3 o'clock.
Which is an early night.
And do you know how I knew you were pissed, Big Dunk?
Halfway.
Because you were calling everybody bro. Hey, bro.
Was that?
I'll go, bro. You, Scott, bro. Yeah, Ash, bro. I'll be there.
I wasn't.
Yeah,
that was a good night.
I tell you what, it was a great night. And, I have to be honest, being a Newcastle United fan, I've brought it in straight away. Being in Newcastle, you can come up here, no problem, Dan. You can come. You can come up, no problem. And being a Newcastle United fan, a little bit anti-Paul Merson, because he always predicts Newcastle are going to lose.
But I asked him about this. I asked him about that exact question. I said, do you find that supporters of certain clubs think you're biased? He said, every single club they think I'm biased about. Everyone. And
now what I was going to say, I am now totally a Paul Merson fan. I'm sorry, Rabbi. Okay, the Arsenal Rabbi. There he is. The Arsenal Rabbi. I am totally
I thought he was brilliant.
He was brilliant. A wonderful man. I spent a lot of hours with him because obviously taking all the photographs of people that was there. He had time for every single person.
Every single person.
There was even a couple of occasions where he was asked some rather naughty questions.
Oh, some knobhead asked him one, didn't he? I remember that one. I didn't like that. Why would you do that?
Yeah, well, and he handled it great.
He owned him. I can't remember what his reply was.
I know exactly what it was. When the guy said, I think he'd had a few drinks. He said, Paul Merson talks frank and honestly about his gambling. He admits that he lost every bean. Every bean. He'd tell you his wages at each club. He said at one point, the biggest payday he ever had, I think he said 35 grand a week at Villa. Okay, 35 grand a week. He gambled the lot away.
And his biggest bet he put on one game of football was
150 grand.
150 grand, eh?
And they lost. But this one guy asked the question, were you really that bad at gambling that you have to do shit dinners in Benidorm? And everybody knows what what he meant in a way, but nobody wanted to say it.
It was the way he delivered it, though.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
He actually said it like he was having a dig at him.
Yeah,
like it was a bit of malice.
Yeah, a real dig at him, and everybody was kind of like, there was a few whistles and boos and that. And Paul Merson, this was brilliant. Paul Merson went, no, let me answer the question.
He did, yeah.
And he went, yes. And that was a brilliant reply. Paul Merson knows he was shit at gambling. You've got to be shit at gambling if you've lost everything. I mean, he lost his house, his wife, his family, everything. And as I say, that 150 grand he put on Flying Pig, lost. It was Blackburn versus Reading, I think he said. Yeah, and this was the time that Blackburn were like sort of doing well. They had a good strike force. He named 3 strikers. I can't remember who they were now. He says, I got 6-4. I was rubbing my hands. I says, I can't believe that the bookies have given me 6-4 for Blackburn. 150 grand on the nose. They got beat 3-0.
Sorry, mate.
They got beat 3-0. He must have been devastated. He went frankly on about his favourite bet was a 10 grand double, a correct score double. Now, you know yourself, Big Dumb Flying Pig, how difficult it is to get correct scores, but a correct score double? I mean,
that's just mental.
I mean, it is mental. I don't know if he mentioned the horses. I think he was gambling. And the great story he told was when he was an apprentice at Arsenal, and he was given his first wages was £100 a week. And at the and he was just a young guy at the time, I think 16 or 17, which makes me think he shouldn't have been able to get into the bookies, but he did. He went in with his pal, and his first 100 quid wages he lost in the bookies within half an hour. And that's when it all started. I mean, I
don't know about you guys, but I could have listened to him all night.
He was a great guy. He spoke. Flying Pig, how long did he speak for?
Oh, it's a good half hour, 3/4 of an hour, saying.
Then the questions.
Yeah, and that's question and answers, but and he was funny as well, wasn't he?
He was funny. He didn't know what he had the timing of a very good comic.
Yeah, it was very good comic. I thought he delivered it all really well. I thought it was a bit like, I don't know, it wasn't all over the place, was it? He knew exactly what he was going to say. Yeah, but it wasn't like staged. It wasn't as if he was reading from an audio cue or anything. It was from the heart, and that's how he knew it was true. And I was always unsure of him, to be honest, because you see him on Soccer Saturday on Sky Sports, and he does have a reputation for coming across as a bit like he's not bothered to say what he wants, and I think a lot of supporters are too keen on him. So I wasn't going there that night. I thought, I wonder what he's going to be like. Complete opposite. Yeah. Complete opposite to what I thought.
Well, I had a little interaction with an Everton fan today, because the 3 Pundits video went up today live about the Merson event. You saw it in conjunction with Radio 1 and Linear Director. And the 3 Pundits video went up there. They can see it on our Facebook page, by the way. And there was a fan or two came in and said, well, this one guy in particular said, I wouldn't walk across the road to go and see Merson. And he was an Everton fan, and I messaged him. I said, well, listen, pal, I'll not say his name. I was also not a Paul Merson fan. All I've got are memories of him beating Newcastle in the FA Cup final, and yes, predicting that Newcastle's going to lose every week. I said, but I changed my mind. And he said that might be the case, but Everton fans don't take too warmly to him either, because he had a real pop at Richarlison when Everton signed Richarlison at the beginning of the season.
Do you not think that's a bit petty, though?
41 million. But listen, what I'm going to tell you. I said the same thing on the 3 Pundits, if you can remember. I was saying, why on earth?
Well, we all did,
41 million for him. Now, as it happens, he scored 6 goals this season so far, and he's had a great season.
Yeah, up to now.
Up to now. But I said to the Everton fan, best wishes to him. I hope he proves us wrong. But I would be right on Merson's side with this. I would say that Everton shouldn't have paid 41 million at the beginning of the season.
But when it comes
to a track record,
if a pundit ever says anything bad about Liverpool, I don't get offended by that. It's someone's
some
opinion.
People do.
It's just someone's opinion.
Well, everybody's got an opinion on everything,
and it's good to prove them wrong, or maybe later in the season they might turn around and say, "I'll put my hands up." Earlier this year I said this, and I was proven wrong.
Well, the thing. I wonder how many people we upset on here.
That's just each other. But should you only go and see pundits like that, events like that of footballers you like, or should you be open to go and see people you maybe don't like? Because you never know if you might change your opinion on someone.
Well, there's that in it. You need to come a little bit dumb because you're not as big these days, so your little thin face keeps going out. Okay, so just concentrate. Well, there was a few Newcastle supporters there. The table at the back, I don't remember. There was a few Newcastle supporters there, and I said to one of them, why are you here? Well, he's a legend. They said the man's a legend. And to go, and this is what this guy said, Big Alan he's called, not Alan Shearer. He says to go and see somebody, to go and be able to talk to somebody that's been to the World Cup final, because this guy's a real football guy, that's been to World Cup finals, and to hear a man who, by his own admission, has fell by the wayside. I found, and I know you did, Flying Pig, as he's chucking the toys for Zoe. I know you did as well, Flying Pig. I found it almost awe-inspiring listening to this guy.
Absolutely.
Being so honest.
I didn't even know, I didn't remember that he actually played in that Arsenal-Liverpool game back in 1989.
Yeah,
Arsenal famously won the league.
Michael Thomas scored,
in the dying second. I didn't even know that he was.
I watched that goal. Now I'm going to disagree with one thing, Merson. One thing you said, and this is on the video, 3 Pundits video as well. The very thing he said, and Michael Thomas scored this goal, one of the best goals I've ever seen.
It's a tapping,
no, it wasn't a tap.
Well,
he took it. I watched it this morning. He took it on his chest, lovely control on his chest. It fell nicely for him, and he slid it under the goalkeeper. Merson, I have to tell you, son, you must have been watching another game because it was a decent goal, but it certainly wasn't the best goal I've ever seen.
Probably means best feeling. I'm just sharing.
I think that's what he meant to say. What you're sharing,
I'm sharing our video on social media so people can see us now.
Okay.
Just tweeting it out to everyone on Facebook.
No problem. But yeah, I mean, you came out that do as well, and even after the event, a lot of these celebrities, they get paid to a certain time. And
he
had time for everybody.
Everything, yeah.
There was even there was even a guy coming way after he was paid. There was even a guy wanted to have a word with him about, and I won't give his name away, about his gambling. And he'd got into real bad difficulty with it, and he'd been clean. I think is that the word that they use?
Right.
If you haven't had a bet, he'd been clean for 14 weeks, and he just wanted to have a little word with Merson. Merson said, "Bring him in." And when you guys had gone by then,
right.
And when I left, I took a couple more photographs. When I'd left, Paul Merson was still standing with that guy, having a little chat
in his own time.
In his own time, way over the time he was paid for. Merson, I don't know if you'll watch this video, but listen, mate, top marks to you. We all thought you were awesome the other night, and
I'd
it was a great night. The dinner was good after. Hey,
that chicken was.
You took some chicken in. I thought you wanted to diet.
You can have chicken, as much as you want.
Yeah, but not 14 stone of it.
Yeah, you can.
You wiped everybody's plate out.
1 gram, it's like 1 gram, 1 calorie or something like that, mate.
You said you wanted to take some for the dogs. He had it.
No,
he got some. Them two had now to eat, didn't they? That was sat next to us.
They didn't eat. They give us
they'd eaten before they'd gone or something.
Yeah, they said because they'd been to one of these do's before. Was it the Marina Hotel? If you're going to have one of these do's at the Marina Hotel,
I thought
food was first class. I was expecting not quite as good a meal. Loads of chicken, loads of potatoes, lots of veg, beautiful sweet.
Yeah. Lots of wine that nobody touched.
Yeah, I know, lots of wine.
Let your carver.
Then, do you see all them roast potatoes that were left on table?
You couldn't eat them.
I couldn't have one. I reached out to get one and it slapped me.
And up bread.
Oh, yeah.
The bread and butter.
Did you see that bastard, man? He had bread and he was going like that.
With the butter.
Man. Yeah.
Because the big lad can't eat carbs, you know.
What a bastard.
So I ate them for him.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, but you didn't eat them potatoes.
No, I'm only a small lad. I can only eat so much.
What's that all about, man? Seriously.
But in all honesty, it was a great night. The meal was good. Merson was fantastic. The staff were good. The photographer was brilliant. And it was just a really good night. Yeah. And then you two went out and partied early hours in Benidorm.
We had a great night. We had a really good night.
How do you know you can't remember all?
Because I've seen videos. Next day I was like, how did we do that?
What was this flying pig on with a lap dancer or something?
No.
Oh, that was that.
There was some dancer on and you put
City,
with the flying pig or something. I was looking for him, but I couldn't see I thought you were going to get up on stage and do a little dance.
No, she wasn't a lap dancer. She's a pole dancer.
There's my boy Stu there. In fact, Stu there, he's an Arsenal fan. He's a good friend of mine. And at that event the other night, I said to Merson, I said, can you do us a message for my mate Stu? I said, he's a gooner, like. There we go.
Hi Stu, it's Paul Merson. Hope you're okay, mate. Keep the faith. They will turn it around.
I've got to say one thing though. Can I just come in there and say one thing? The amount of play for Arsenal, he was an Arsenal stalwart, but he's a Chelsea supporter.
Yeah.
He's a staunch Chelsea supporter, isn't he?
Yeah, he just says he's happy to wake up to the audio message. He also gave a one from Paul as well to the rabbi.
I've seen that video.
The rabbi's always going, Arsenal, you're fucking done and dusted. And I got Merson to say to the rabbi, we're not done and dusted yet. I mean, he was a great sport. Anything you asked him, he done.
Yeah,
you know?
he did.
Anything you asked him to do, he did. Now, listen, let's move on from Merson. It isn't the Merson Appreciation Society.
Internationals, you want to talk about anything to do with them? I mean, England played the same day, didn't they, as the Merson gig?
Yeah, absolutely. Lauren Ann Hitchen has just joined as well as Stuart Harbour. She's out in the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean somewhere on a cruise. She's one of my Facebook, which is actually a relation, but she was on a cruise, I think, around Jamaica or somewhere at the moment. Yeah. So she's just joined it. Well, this is the rich side of the family. I mean, poor me. Jamaica. I've got to be Jamaica. No, she went to her own club. So, listen, we had a great night with Paul Merson. If you've just joined, Paul Merson was fantastic. But this is not the Paul Merson Appreciation Society.
England game played that day, didn't they?
England played that day.
And they were losing 1-0, yes?
Losing 1-0. Last 5 minutes. Harry Kane come up just a minute before the time. Now, everything that I said, you two, about the Nations League has become true. Apparently, England, I'm not talking England football team, England in general, the country it was like it was a World Cup final.
I don't believe you.
And what happened in the go to Group A, the one that automatically won the group, they go into Group A, they automatically go into a semi-final place. And apparently the whole country watched this game on Sunday, and it was brilliant.
I think you're exaggerating.
And it was a fantastic game.
A wonderful game.
All of a sudden, everybody has latched onto this UEFA Nations League and said, by fuck, it's far better than those meaningless friendlies. And it is, lads. Now, you lads have to eat your hats now. You have to. Scotland as well. If they win tonight, they top their group and they get a playoff place.
Are you even aware of any fixtures that are left this week to do with? Exactly. I don't pay attention to it.
I know that all teams are out apart from Scotland. All nations.
All I will say is I'm glad Paul Merson does more research on football and watches more games than these two mugs.
Well, it's just, watching England's
head buttons.
Boring, isn't it? But I am going to give it a go, seeing as you've told me that it's getting good. And quite a few articles I've seen go out on social media and stuff by journalists that I follow have all said how it has surprised everyone and that it is actually working.
Well, it didn't surprise me because I'm a football expert.
There's only one trouble with that, Doug.
What?
It's all finished this month till March.
Good.
Yeah, well,
does that mean no more international breaks then? Oh, we've got loads of friends.
In March, and the Champions League kicks in. But no, as I say, it is genuinely interesting now, and there's something to play for. Scotland have now got Ashley Price has joined. Scotland have now got, if they win this game tonight, they have a playoff place in the Euros. It does mean something now. Ashley Price, tell us the hours of the corner bar, because we might be paying you a visit. Free advertising for you right at this moment. The corner bar, Benidorm. Ashley Price and his missus.
Get it
okay. We wanted to come and do a podcast from your bar today, one of these things. We was going to drink a few beers, eat a little bit of food. He didn't reply to one time. So come on, Ashley Price, get your act together.
All right, stop. So Scotland, then you're telling me, because of this tournament, if they win tonight, can go through to the finals of the Euros?
No, they get a playoff place.
A playoff place.
So if in the Euros proper, there was to finish third, I think it is, in the group that will get a playoff place. Now, Scotland hasn't even had a playoff place in the Euros or the World Cup for 20 years.
I was just going to say, what were the chances?
20 years,
right?
You know. So that's how important it is to Scotland. Now,
do we know the opposition that they come
Israel.
up against?
They're playing Israel tonight.
No, if they proceed.
No, we don't know what the Euros draw is going to be. Of course we don't.
I don't know if
Of course we don't.
Someone else in this shite that you're on about.
Ashley Price, I'm a busy man, fellas. I'll give you a call later, mate. No problem at all, but it's too late. But we will be down to see you. We'll have to support Ash in his little venture down there, the corner bar.
I've been telling everyone about it. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a good lad.
We must also not forget our other bars that sponsor us, the Shamrock. We've got the Brew Rock at Albia. We've got the Church, the Union Jack Bar in Benidorm as well. All wonderful, wonderful pubs that you must visit in the Benidorm Albia area, and they happen to sponsor the Three Pundits and Zoe. Zoe.
Oh, okay.
No, she's not coming up. You coming up? There's Zoe. She's lovely, Dunk.
Yeah.
She's much more affectionate than Mrs. Scott.
Right, come on.
Okay, right. You've got some things you need to talk about.
Is that how we finished with the internationals?
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. He couldn't wait to get on there. Get rid of it.
Well, this is some stuff that I was going to talk about on our Saturday sports show, and it was Premier League clubs could lose 10 million a year as live streaming drives down the value of TV rights.
Do you mean pirate live streaming?
Yeah. Well, they're talking about the piracy is causing a huge problem for Premier League clubs who could lose millions of TV money because of it. For clubs like Bournemouth, who rely on TV money for 89.2% of their income. Yeah,
because they've only got a 10,000 capacity crowd.
This would amount to a tenth of its income. Suggestions that piracy was a key factor in driving down what Sky is paying the Premier League over the next 3 years, because they paid 12.1% less, from 4.1 billion to 3.6. And according to the Times, they have found strong evidence that attendances from the second tier and below have already started to drop because of streaming, and also the EPL's decision to make streams of certain games available online legally. So the EPL now, you can actually choose which game you want to watch, with some exceptions. And the suggestion is, is this going to happen in the Premier League one day, where we're going to be able to pick what game you want to watch?
Well, let's be honest, lads, we can watch any game we want now.
You can, but only illegally. So that means all the games going out, and unless you're in overseas, in some countries do broadcast it they're allowed to. But in the UK, you're obviously not allowed to watch live Premier League football during that blackout on a Saturday at 3, because the argument is that it drives down, attendances, which is fair comment. But I can't help but think that maybe that it needs to start being looked at, because there must be hundreds of millions of pounds going now into. Where is it going? It's not going into the game, is it, if it's illegal? So surely, if we had like a platform from the Premier League where you could buy a ticket for your club, or you could pick any game you wanted each week, and there was a new pot of money created from that additionally, could that then not be compensated to those teams down the divisions more?
That's what should happen.
Distribution.
I think if they did that, and also that there's people that won't subscribe to BT Sports and Sky and all that because they think it's too expensive. And they don't see any games on a Saturday. But if this come in, I think there'd be a lot of individuals, if it was priced right, and just to pick one game to watch on a Saturday, you would get a hell of a lot more people.
If you look how TV's changed now, I don't know what you guys have. I watch a lot of Netflix. I very rarely watch TV programs when they're originally broadcast. I record them or whatever.
RedTube.
And I think that with the sport we may go down that route. I've got genuine subs to Sky Sports and BT Sport, right? Despite having a box that will open up the stuff for free, right? So I still have the legal subscriptions, but I also pay about £10 a month for access to every game, including the Saturday 3 PMs. So I can stream, illegally on an Android box any game I want from any league, as it's taking place, and. It says here, it all started in the 1960s, right? Burnley chairman Bob Lord, he convinced all the Football League chairmen to join forces with him to halt the airing of matches at 3 PM on a Saturday. He felt that big games being televised at that time would hurt attendances for smaller clubs like his Burnley team, reasoning that people would rather watch a big game than support their local team. These chairmen feared the potential loss of matchday revenue that could occur. And so based on that premise, with no real proof other than a hunch, it came to pass that no match on a Saturday between 2:45 and 5:15 could be aired on TV in the UK. And that has remained in place ever since the 60s, with the exception of the FA Cup final, which has always been shown on a Saturday at 3, until recently, when it switched to 5 in a controversial move by the FA. Now, just one thing. There's a new broadcaster now called 11 Sports. They've been buying up rights for all sorts of, I think they've got the Italian leagues and Spanish leagues, and they've been competing with Sky. They're set to mount a legal challenge over this Saturday's blackout on a 3 o'clock. So I think it's got to be looked at. I think it's got to be looked at, because how much more money could they generate from additional, an additional pot of money from letting people have them access to games at 3 on a Saturday?
It has to, and I'll tell you the reason it has to, Duncan, as you say so rightly, that you can stream illegally any game. Now, if your normal football fan was given the option to pay to stream all of these games and pay 10 or 15 or 20 euros, 20 quid a month, then they'd probably do it. It's only these pirate companies that are, and they're poor quality, some of them, let's be honest. They keep freezing. They're 5 or 6 seconds behind the action, but we'll all watch them.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get any game I want.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet, I pay, listen to this, you'll not believe it, $2.99 to watch a Spanish third division game, and I pay $2.99 every game.
Yeah.
But I get the stream, a legal stream, and the money goes to the club.
Well, this is what the EFL are doing, right? I didn't know about this. Right? So the EFL have embraced the new era. All midweek championship games are available to watch on the red button on Sky, while League One and League Two fixtures can be viewed on the
live.
Can be viewed on the iFollow service. iFollow is a subscription service that offers fans of EFL clubs all over the world the chance to stream games live in high definition or listen to the audio commentary. EFL clubs are able to live stream in the UK and Ireland any league match via that iFollow or equivalent service that takes place outside the blocked hours of 2:45 to 5:15 on Saturday afternoons, that is not broadcast live on Sky Sports. So in the UK, the EFL make this available, right? They have match passes that are available for £10. Season passes that offer only live audio commentary and access to video on demand are available as well for £45. There's a monthly pass, audio commentary and video on demand at £4.49. And then international users can purchase a season pass for the EFL games for £110 or a match pass for £5.
So by the EFL, you mean obviously the followers of these lower league clubs, likes of Sunderland and Accrington Stanley.
I knew where you were going with that straight away.
Sunderland, Accrington Stanley, Burton Albion, like these really shitty clubs, They watch the game.
Much more people doing that, because it's rather than having to pay a massive. Like you pay to Sky BT and all that.
I'm paying several services to make sure that I can watch Liverpool play on a Saturday at 3 o'clock. But I would rather pay a proper service, like he said, where you're getting proper high definition, proper quality. The money's going back into the game where it should be. You don't know who's taking over.
Even if you were paying it per game, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm staying in Saturday.
Exactly.
I might,
£3.
I might watch Burnley. I'd pay 10 I'd pay 15 quid.
I wouldn't pay £10 to watch Burnley. Now you're being stupid.
It's still cheaper than going to Turf Moor, isn't it? You know what I mean? If you want to watch it.
Yeah, but not a £10 to watch Burnley. How much would you pay to watch Morecambe? £1.99.
No, 199 quid.
£1.99.
I think that on a Saturday afternoon, right, at 3 o'clock, I always watch a 4 o'clock here. I always watch a live game. If Liverpool are playing, I'll look for the game that I think is interesting, which I think would be the best one. But even if it's two small clubs that maybe are not fanciable, to watch, if it's like, I would still be willing to play because I like my football and I want to see what's going on.
Go on the dunk, Sean O'Clery.
Sean, he's a good lad. Unlike across Europe, every Saturday afternoon Premier League encounter is available for fans to watch, leaving supporters to find a legal stream. So
illegal stream.
Yeah, but in Europe they can watch more access to things. And like I say, there is a worry that attendances would go down, right? Because people are going to stay at home and watch, Man United. Even if it's Man United Huddersfield, people are still going to probably watch that over going to maybe watch the local, or something. So make it fair. Make sure that the bigger clubs don't get richer from this necessarily. They're entitled to the revenues, fair enough. But let's get more money. I mean, come on, guys. We know that these lower divisions, right? These teams struggle as it is. We've seen so many teams that are 100 years old go under, because they don't have money anymore, right?
Because all they're interested in is the Premier League.
Right, so
that's where all the money goes.
So imagine if they had hundreds of millions distributed through them lower divisions. Can you imagine the quality of how it was raised at the English game?
So what you could do is, whoever picks, they wanted to pick, say, watch Man United Liverpool, and it cost you 15 quid, say. So much would only go to that club, and the percentage of that will go into a pool, which could
has to.
That would be great, but I tell you what,
it has to.
That would be great, but I tell you what, the big clubs would veto it.
Yeah,
the big clubs would say, well,
listen, they might.
Man City's
it's like we talked about the other day.
The financial fair play rules fiddled them.
Listen, it's like we said the other day, the FA rule over the whole, even the Premier League, when it comes down to rules, not necessarily the finances, but to rules. If they made it a rule, they'd have to abide by it, wouldn't they, Dunk?
Yeah, sorry, I was reading the messages.
Well, but why, as I say, Man City have been accused time and time again of fiddling
the thing is,
rules.
the top clubs in the Premier League have been trying to get more money for themselves, right?
Greedy bastards.
Out of the Premier League. So what they're trying to say now is from the international TV broadcasting deals, they're trying to say that Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, they're saying, hang on a minute, people on the other side of the world, they're interested. They don't want to watch Huddersfield. They don't want to watch Bournemouth. They want to watch us. So because of that, we should get more of the TV rights than the other teams. And I think that is fucking disgusting, because without opponents, you have nothing.
But it's market forces, Dunk.
But it's not right, though, is it?
I mean, who would you rather watch, Man United or Accrington Stanley?
Right, but without your opponent.
I agree.
Without your opponents, there wouldn't be a Man City, would there?
I agree.
So we don't want to sit down and watch Bournemouth or Huddersfield or Palace and teams like that. They're maybe not attractive, but those Premier League clubs can't be as wealthy as they are at the top without those smaller clubs as well
to play against.
Because and they're already rich. They're stinking rich. I mean,
where it's, and I mentioned Accrington Stanley, and I quite agree. Now, Accrington Stanley to Man United is only 3 divisions difference. Okay, you've got Premier, the Championship, League One, 3 divisions different. Now, Sunderland went into, there's all the comments coming up there. When Sunderland went into League One, I had a ball. You know that. And I started to try and get things that I could get a hold of to wind the Sunderland supporters up, because it's just the way I am.
Right.
And I've got a picture, Dunk, of Accrington Stanley's ground.
Right.
Okay? It's a cowshed. Now, what we're saying, and I agree with you, they're 3 divisions away from Man United, from Liverpool, Newcastle, from Chelsea, from Man City. They're 3 divisions away. But in terms of finance, they are light years away. And what's the solution? The solution, as you've just said, is more money filtered down to the lower league clubs.
Because
all agree.
Right now, the Premier League would turn around now and say, bollocks to the other clubs. This is the Premier League. This is our league.
Exactly.
We've got nothing. We don't owe them anything. However, the one argument against broadcasting the games live on at 3 o'clock on a Saturday is the lower divisions, the smaller clubs. So the Premier League cannot argue that. They've got to accept that. So they need to turn around and say this is additional funds. And I'd be up for the majority of the percentage going down the divisions. Now, you imagine if each of them clubs maybe even got just 1 million each a season, what a difference it would make.
So I've got a better argument to throw to the big clubs, is that Charlton, Bradford, Sunderland, not so long ago, Charlton, not so long ago, Blackpool, not so long ago, they were all in the Premier League.
Yeah,
all of them. Now they're in the bottom, the lower divisions. And I bet you, given the opportunity 5 or 6 years ago when Charlton or Bradford or Sunderland or whatever was in the Premier League, and there's a vote for these Premier League clubs, do you want to give 20% of your budget away to the lower league clubs? You want to say, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's Premier League. We want that. We're in the Premier League. We want the money.
Look
where they are now.
Take
it now. Now, listen, there's some big clubs, I'm going to name one of them, flirting with relegation of the Premiership right now, Newcastle United. Okay? Now, Newcastle United are different. I'll tell you why they're different. You know that £10 million that you're talking about that they might lose, the Premier League clubs for television rights, that should go back to the club that goes into the pot that buys players. Well, not with Mike Ashley. That goes in his back pocket. Okay? So Newcastle's a different kettle of fish. But big teams flirts with relegation. Newcastle United. Who's the other one that's down at the bottom? Cardiff. They've been bouncing up and down the Premier League for a few seasons. Fulham, been in the Premier League for years. Now, they might have a little bit danger of dropping into the Championship. And look what happened to Sunderland last year. Into the Championship from the Premier League. They had a shit of a season, a disaster. They've ended up in League One. They are now a lower league club. And as you say, Flying Pig, if they'd had the vote 3 or 4 years ago to distribute some of the money to the lower league clubs, I bet you they would have voted against it. And this is the problem. Everybody in the Premier League now thinks, well, we're a Premier League club. We're not going to.
They don't give a fuck, do they? And it's annoying when you look back at, you know, how these lower divisions used to supply some of the best players. You know, I mean, like Liverpool signing like Aldridge, Rush, Barnes, and all that. You know. Crew Alexandra used
they have like little feeder clubs,
yeah, Crew used to do some great, produce some great players. And I just think that, could you imagine how more exciting the lower divisions could be to people that maybe just want a little interest, right? We all support Premier League clubs, but I would have an interest in the lower down the divisions if there was the money was in there. If they you know, I mean, I don't know if you ever watched the thing about the documentary about Salford, you know, the ones that the Manchester United players have done. I mean, that's phenomenal viewing and what they've achieved there. And I just think that if we had more competitive lower divisions, we'd be getting better players. And you know, that must somewhere along the line it has to surely help the national team as well, England. And is there another thing that you could throw in there to make it a bit more sexy? Is have some of these B teams like we've talked about, like the
we've talked
Spain,
about that before.
I don't think that'll work personally.
But I mean, the FA Cup is something we talked about on Saturday's show, Radio 1 Benidorm. We talked about the FA Cup and how the FA have devalued it, given peanuts for the winners of the FA Cup. Can you remember how much it was? 5 million if you win the FA Cup. How much do you get from the Premier League if you get relegated from the Premier League? 50 million balloon payment just to help you out because you're going into a lower division.
So is this
scandalous?
Is this being talked about? This that we've just been talking about, Dunk, about, you know, Saturday afternoon. Is it being discussed by anyone, or
this broadcaster, 11 Sports, they're a new broadcaster, or reasonably new, and I know that they've been buying up a lot of TV rights, and they're showing a lot of things online.
The one that challenged it,
these are becoming. I think they're going to become a serious broadcaster.
Where are they from, Dunk?
I'm not sure, mate. I don't know, but.
Saudi Arabia.
They're buying up everything. They're buying up everything, and they could become very powerful. And it says they're set to mount a legal challenge over this Saturday's 3 p.m. blackout. And like I say, I think it has to happen. It has to happen because every single football supporter I know through my work on a Saturday afternoon, they're all messaging each other going, "Has anyone got a link to a stream? Have you got a stream? Give us a stream. Oh, here's a stream, lads." So you either take your chance and go with the free ones, which are usually shite, and they usually go down, or you might get lucky, or you pay. And like I say, I'm paying, and I know lads that are paying up to $19.99 a month to get a subscription to whatever football they want. So they're paying that legally. Yeah. So how many millions of people are paying that?
Exactly.
There'd be millions more to pay. Every bar, they could watch the team.
Yeah. Every bar in Benidorm, you know yourself, lads. Whenever Newcastle's on, I can go and watch Newcastle anytime they play. They're getting the Saudi Arabia television. They're getting television from Iraq. They're getting television from Holland, from Norway. We can watch any game we want in Benidorm, and it's all.
So we've got the Premier League, right, from England, that is being broadcast in hundreds of countries live around the world on a Saturday, and we in our own country can't watch it. Come on, that's not fun. It's mental, isn't it?
It's ridiculous.
See, a good point you was taking there, Doc, is that this just doesn't apply to people in Britain just being a subscribe game. It would probably be people all over the world saying, "Well, I'll have a bit of that."
That's a good shout, because
you know what I mean. A tenner, it just
that's a good shout, because some of them might not be able to. Yes,
it just have to be just you know, allocate to Britain.
They could probably make more money
out
of that.
Well over, you'd say, listen, if you want to, you know, to stream it, if you want it. Whichever team you want, you could be in South America. You can watch Liverpool.
You can do that in Spain through the broadcaster here. Yeah. You can actually, through them, you can actually watch online and pick which Premier League game you want to watch.
Yeah, we've got it now.
So just after appertain to Britain, it could be all over the world. Think of how much, you know, revenue that'd bring.
It has to change because of something that they thought of in the 1960s. You know, the only thing is, what they've said is that this, because the EFL, EPL, sorry, are showing the, is it EPL? Who is it? EFL, I think, isn't it? The ones that are showing the lower division.
Yes,
the EFL. They're saying that that there is strong evidence, the Times, an article in the Times says there is strong evidence that attendances are dipping due to that decision to allow the streaming of games online, you know, through that service, that iFollow service. But does it matter if the clubs are still getting the money? And then surely at the end of the day, then the clubs have got to look at their own model and say, right, people are coming in, let's reduce ticket prices because we're getting it off. So we're getting money now from this additional broadcasting. We'll lower the prices down and people are going to come in that can't afford to stream it or can't afford to go to it.
And on the other hand of it, if they're getting more money in, they can afford better players.
Exactly.
So it would make the game as a whole better.
It would be an absolute brilliant boost, I think, for English football right through the league. Leagues are out there.
And as I say, the void in wealth between the Premier League and the First Division League One, and it's only since Sunderland went in this year that I'm seeing the teams. What's the Morecambe League One or League Two? League Two. And your Accrington Stanleys and your Burton Albions.
Well, you've got the lads on the radio, like Cash and Walsall. Bradford, the Paul support. We never ever really looked at any teams, did we? But now, because they support,
we've got a bit interested.
We've got a bit interested. And we do look for the results, don't we? You look at Sunderland result, you look at Walsall result, you look at Bradford, Morecambe, you know.
But again, the Sunderland Stadium, state of the art, fantastic. I think it seats 38,000, and they're playing the likes of Accrington. And if you go on YouTube or you go on the internet and you see the difference in those two stadiums, well, Accrington hasn't even got a stadium. It really is just a cattle shed.
Well, it is really.
It's unbelievable. And they've got to League One. They've got to League One. Was in it last season. They won League Two last season. They got promoted because it was the big joke. Sunderland's going to be playing Accrington Stanley. Now, when they went up a division, surely, logically, there should have been some sort of windfall payment that they can actually afford to build a decent all-seater stadium. Mm. Maybe it's not all-seater. Maybe it's 2 stands all-seater, 2 stands standing. No, they've still got a shit ground.
Yeah.
And yet, the team that gets relegated from the Premier League gets 50 million. I mean, it's scandalous.
Mental.
Absolutely scandalous. The distribution of wealth is ridiculous.
Talking about greed and the big clubs and that, we didn't get to discuss this on Saturday because we ran out of time on our show on Radio 1. Arsenal have confirmed that they've been heavily involved in European Super League talks. They said there'll be no challenge to UEFA's authority within the next 4 years. It was a report that came out in a German publication which claimed leaked documents show the breakaway league could be created in 2021. Are you listening?
You're on camera, man. Will you concentrate?
I've got a face for radio.
You're going like this.
I've got a face for radio.
You were doing it that week as well. You were doing that the other week.
Right.
We're on Captain.
Right.
The 3 pundits.
Shut up. Or what?
Let the boy talk.
Right. So they're saying that the Super League could be created in 2021, and it could see clubs involved leave their national leagues and football associations. Arsenal denied that they would leave the Premier League. It's claimed that Real Madrid has joined forces with AC Milan, Arsenal, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Manchester United to form a group of 7 sides who went behind the back of UEFA, Europe's football's governing body, to discuss forming a European Super League. As part of their plans, the clubs allegedly discussed an option for leaving the national leagues and their football associations behind entirely. Arsenal have denied it, like I just said. The new competition is claimed would involve 11 of Europe's biggest clubs, known as the Founders, along with 5 initial guests. The so-called Founders, who would include the 7 clubs named above, and along with them is Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City and PSG. They would not face relegation and would be guaranteed membership for 20 years.
That's terrible. No relegation.
The 5 initial guests, according to the document, would be Atletico Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, Inter Milan, Marseille and Roma. No mention for Newcastle there. Right? Put that in there. Would that be the end of the Champions League as we know it?
Well, what's the Champions League for?
Right.
What's
the answer to that question is yes.
There is suggestions of a second league of teams that could play the guest teams in order to win promotion to the Super League. Participants of the Super League could be granted much more significant financial rewards if they were allowed to play with the most superior clubs in the world on a more regular basis. more so than the Champions League allows at the moment. It is likely that a Super League would replace the Champions League entirely, though it is not clear how it would affect the participating clubs' domestic and national leagues. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it. When Liverpool play a true European giant, right, one of the biggest clubs in Europe, them fixtures, they don't come round all the time. And when they come round, it makes them special. Now, if you're playing them teams all the time, it's like...
Well, they have to be 4 times a year.
If they're doing that and saying, right, this week it's Liverpool Juventus again, it's like,
no, I think it's.
I watch Barnsley on the telly. Yeah,
it's again. Is this greed again? Is this what this is about?
What it's all about.
What's wrong with the Champions League?
Exactly. What's the Champions League for? If they want to do
and the smaller clubs are going to suffer again.
Listen, MLS in America, Major League Soccer, exactly the same formula. They invite the top 12 teams, the richest clubs. No promotion, no relegation. And guess what? The league's shit.
Yeah.
It's crap. All you've got in that league is a load of 37-year-old players that's played in Europe that's going for their last payday.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is playing fantastic. Wayne Rooney's playing well. But he's only playing well, and Zlatan's only playing because they're playing inferior opposition.
Absolutely.
Inferior opposition. You get invited to that league, you stay in the league, there's no relegation. As long as your club's worth about 200 million, you're allowed to stay in.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then they have another division just underneath that. I can't remember what it's called now. That's exactly the same. No promotion, no relegation. And then you go down to the other divisions, then they have the promotions, relegations. But you can't get into that league unless you're rich.
Yeah.
I mean, that isn't what football's all about. The likes of Bournemouth, if that was the case, would never be anywhere near the Premier League because they're a poor club and they get 10,000 crowds.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like the idea of it.
I don't think it'll come up personally.
I like the Champions League. I do enjoy it when them games come round. I'm not a fan of when you drop out of it, you drop into the UEFA Cup or whatever it's called now.
No, nobody's a fan of that.
I don't believe in that at all. I think that's devalued that competition completely, and it used to be a competition that people used to have pride in winning. But no, I've maybe changed the Champions League a little bit, but I like that format. I like the all the music gets you going and that when it comes round, and you do get obviously you do some of the big clubs do have to play the smaller clubs, which is good financially, isn't it, for the smaller clubs?
Yeah.
This proposal that is clearly underway because Arsenal have confirmed that they're discussing it. This is going to shaft those. They said
they're just discussing it just to keep an eye on proceedings. That's what the chairman said.
But they did this years ago because there was something called the G14 or something. I'm sure there was the G8 clubs or something. I can't remember.
Celtic and Rangers have wanted to join the EPL for many, many years, but it hasn't come off. Now, it might be great, the English Premier League with Rangers and Celtic in it, not so much Rangers at the minute because they haven't got the financial clout or the class of team, but they're getting closer to Celtic. But again, this has been mooted for years and it's never came off. Because if Rangers and Celtic left the Scottish League would implode. It would be finished. It would be finished.
I mean, I'd like to see Rangers and stuff like that at the Celtic, but you can't do that to them divisions, can you? And if they're saying here that they've looked at, leaving their own leagues, I mean, Arsenal can't. Who do Arsenal think they are? Who do they think they are even saying, we won't leave the Premier League, though? Do you know what I mean? I mean, go and fuck yourself, Arsenal. Just fuck off, man. I'm having it, man.
That's Paul Merson's team, mate.
I don't care.
Chelsea's
Chelsea.
But yeah, it's something that no football fan wants to see. I'll tell you something else. Let's just take a little backtrack.
Yeah.
The little rich suits in the wherever they are in this Super League. Supposing Liverpool joins this Super League, and every other week they play away in Europe.
Yeah. I mean, how does that
work with the fans?
No idea. That's another thing that exactly. How would the fans supposed to do all this?
They're expecting them to pay 500 quid every time they go to a game for air flights and tickets and hotel accommodation. It's ridiculous. What's going to happen? You're going to have a ground with no atmosphere. Yeah. No atmosphere because they ain't anywhere. They might go for the first season. I'm going to want to go to the Juventus game, and somebody might persuade his wife. I want to go. Yeah, I want to go to Barcelona whole weekend. The wives are going to get fuck off. What? You want a weekend in Barcelona this week, and then next month you want the weekend in Milan? Fuck off. Go to the divorce court. Go and get divorced. You can go where the fuck you want. It's ridiculous. And what's going to happen? again, newfangledness, the Arsenal supporters, Liverpool supporters, they might go to the first season or half season. Next season, nah. It's not going to happen. You're going to have no fans there, you know? And then you're going to go back to illegal streaming where the money goes elsewhere. No,
it's too much for me. Why can't I just
idea.
leave it as it is? Do you know what I mean? Why can't I just leave it as it is?
Every single week in the Premier League, when the Premier League's on, we look at the fixtures and there's 4 or 5 mouth-watering fixtures. Don't ruin that, lads. Don't ruin it. It's just, it cannot happen. We cannot let it happen. In fact, we're going to riot. We're going to riot. We're going to go onto the streets, attack whoever these men are. And Arsenal, yes, they've admitted they've been heavily involved in the European League talks. Why? I'll tell you why. Because you're fucking done and dusted. That's why. Fucking done and dusted.
It's just greed again, isn't it? It's just greed. They just want to screw everyone over.
All down to money. That's all it is.
It's shit. And if you haven't got, if you don't have a competitive league, whether it's a European league or a domestic league, what's the point of it? Because it just becomes boring.
Yeah.
And when Man United used to win the league every year, obviously that killed me being a Liverpool fan. But when it's predictable, you don't want that. That's why when Leicester won it, it was brilliant. And the same year, Tottenham were close, weren't they?
Yeah.
And any other year, I'd have been saying, come on, Tottenham, do it just to do something different. You know, you want to see something different. And that's what's good about the Premier League so far this year, is that there is quite a few, you know, teams that are quite close together. You don't want that gap to be bigger, do you? You don't want to be top 4, top 5, top 6 teams, and then all the others are irrelevant. It's fucking shit. It ruins it.
By the way, I'm stroking a dog's head here.
I know, he looks a bit naughty, that lad, doesn't he?
Is that what you're calling it nowadays?
There you
go.
Hey.
I was just giving you a head of stroke and it didn't look very clever on camera. I'm just going to say so. That's why I get you over here. Doug, it's getting to that time of day. We appreciate that you have to be on another stream very, very shortly.
Indeed.
Where can you see this podcast?
Well, actually, yeah, we've got the podcast here. We're recording the audio, and that will be available on iTunes and any decent podcast app. Just search the 3 Pundits. Obviously, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We're everywhere.
You name it.
YouTube channel now. We're back on Radio 1 on Thursday at 6 p.m. for the offside
local
show.
time, 5 p.m. in the UK.
And that's just where we talk bollocks about anything but sport.
And that's the offside show is, like I say, it's current affairs and news, isn't it? Yeah, and it's we put that out on FM. But if you're in the UK or around the world, you can listen via the TuneIn app. You know, you just download it; it's free. Put Radio 1 Benidorm in, and you can tune in. So
yeah, and if
I enjoy that one, I like that one.
Yeah, he loves it. And if you just go direct to radio1benidorm.es, the 1, the figure 1, not O-N-E, radio1benidorm.es. You click on the live player there, and you can listen anywhere you want. That's 5 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. in Spain. And
then we'll be back on Saturday with the Saturday Sports Show.
At 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Spanish time, CET.
Now, one thing before I say my little line, Paul Merson on Sunday evening said, "Why do people say back of the net? It's the front of the net,
that's right, no,
not the back of the net." So I am officially going to change my little strap line tonight, to back of the net. I'm going to say, Ken Scott says goodbye, front of the net.
And the Flying Pig is always on the button.
Yeah, big dunk. I'm out of here.
Hooray! See you guys.